Hello and welcome to the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I'm Matt Mercer, instructor for the Pathfinder School and the founder of the Black Cat Bushcraft channel right here on YouTube. And this morning I am really breaking the rules and I'm in my own backyard. Now I live in the city limits, so you'll probably hear cars and other such noise around me, but this is a place that I actually come out and make fire and cook quite a bit. There's a lot of times where I'm not able to get out into the woods. And I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that don't have access to woods, but maybe you have a little area in your backyard where you can set up a fire pit or a place to work on your fire skills. I have an area here that I've set up where I can hang my hammock and just come out in the backyard, hang in that hammock, practice knot tying, practice fire making, these types of skills. You don't always have to go way out to work on these types of skills. And sometimes you just want to cook up a delicious campfire meal, and you can do that right in your own backyard. So this is another aspect of outdoor cooking, so I thought I would share this with you guys today. So when I switch things up and break the rules, I really switch things up. And today I'm not going to be cooking up a subscriber submitted recipe. However, I will cook up a delicious breakfast of eggs, country sausage, and I'm going to share my family's recipe for a special grits casserole. This is something that's been in our family for many years, and we always cook it up around the holidays. We all love it. So I'm excited to share this recipe with you guys. It's a really good one. Now, we will, of course, as always, have a winner for some free Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear. And here's how the winner will be selected. All you have to do is come down into the comment section of this video and say, "I'm in." Now, there are two stipulations. You must be a subscriber of the Self-Reliance Outfitters YouTube page, and you must be a subscriber of the Black Cat Bushcraft channel. Again, you have to publicly subscribe so that we can verify you are a subscriber on our channel, Self-Reliance Outfitters YouTube page and the Black Cat Bushcraft YouTube page. Of course, that's to your benefit, because if you're a subscriber, you're going to get notified of all of our new videos and you can enjoy other content just like this. So make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber, comment on the video, "I'm in." And about 1 week from the release of this video, we'll do a random name generator and we'll pull from the comment section of this video, and somebody, one of you guys, is going to win a free care package of all the Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear that I used to cook up this breakfast today, and maybe even a bonus item or two. So with all that said, let's get started cooking up a delicious breakfast right now. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on putting together this grits casserole. And I have here my 64-ounce stainless bush pot. Inside of there, I just have my little stainless bowl. We'll set that aside for now, use that later. And I also have the 25-ounce stainless steel cup here. I'm gonna use that as a measuring cup at the moment. Now, inside of this cup, we have graduated measurements in there, and the first measurement is 16 ounces. So I need 1 cup of grits. So I figure if I can eyeball halfway to that 16-ounce line, I should have really close to a cup. That should be close enough as a measurement. I think that's about halfway, eyeballing it. It's close enough. So we're gonna add those grits to the pot. All right, and now we need to add 2 cups of water. Now, I just have these 16-ounce bottles, the 16.9 ounces, which is basically 2 cups. So we're going to add that into the mix. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get that over the fire and cook these grits down. Once the grits are ready, we're going to add in a few other ingredients to make this really special and make it come together. So we'll go ahead and get this over the fire, and we'll work on that again in just a few minutes. So what I have here is just a simple pot hook on a swing arm type system that I forged a couple years back, and I'm going to hang my bush pot here And I'm gonna just try to swing this off to the side of the fire a little bit. I don't want it directly over that heat. That should be good right there. Again, I don't want this thing to overcook. So slow cooking those grits will work out good for us. So that should be fine. And now I can use my tripod for another purpose, AKA coffee. Of course, anytime we're talking about breakfast, you got to get started with coffee. So just get some water on the boil here. Got our little bottle hanger here. It's just the most handy cup ever with this bottle hanger. Just makes it so easy to hang this little guy right over the fire. Had many cups of coffee out of one of these. So I just got my tripod here above my fire pit. I'm gonna just hang that right down over top of the fire there. Get that water hot. And we are officially cooking. I can't wait for this first cup of coffee. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys about that. I need it this morning. Whew. All right, so now that I have a good coal bed forming, it's time to prep this sausage. And I just have here my Pathfinder folding stainless skillet. It's an MVP here on Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. Inside that skillet, I always have my broiler rack. We won't need that right now, so I'm gonna set that aside. I always carry a stainless steel plate, which I almost always use on the show. And I have this nice cutting board. These are laser engraved by Kevin Baxter, the camp master at the Pathfinder School, and his YouTube channel is Salty Dog Outdoors. Got to give my buddy a plug, of course. And so we're going to use this little cutting board this morning to prep the sausage. Now, a lot of people won't think of this type of sausage as a breakfast item, but my family seems to love this stuff every time I cook it. So we'll just be cooking up this country sausage this morning. And for myself, I won't need too much of it, so just cut me a nice little piece here. Set the rest of that stuff aside. And when I cook this for breakfast, what I like to do is just slice it up real thin. It cooks up quick like that. Whenever you cook this stuff up with some eggs, it just adds a lot of flavor. It's got that nice smoke flavor to it, which I love. And of course, you guys know, anytime I'm prepping food on Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, we got to have a sample. Good stuff. We just empty the sausage into the skillet for now until we're ready to get it on the coals. So I'm going to be keeping it simple this morning with a little instant coffee, but if you got to have instant coffee, this one is best. Endorsed by all Pathfinder instructors, I believe. All right, let's add some water in. Drain spout on the cup comes in real handy for this kind of thing. Looks just about right. Anytime you're cooking up breakfast, you gotta have a nice hot cup of coffee to sip on. With that, I'm ready to get serious now. So let's get this sausage on the coals. I got some really nice coals built up down here. And it's gonna be a great coal bed to cook over. Go ahead and take this skillet, the sausage in it that we cut up earlier. Throw that right here on these coals. All right, so this sausage is starting to cook up quick, as you can see. And that stuff is fully cooked anyway. You can eat it right out of the pack. All you really have to do is just brown it up good. Just kind of keep that stuff moving around. All right, so now I'm ready to prep the eggs. And before I do that, I gotta have another sip of that coffee before it gets cold. And what I have here is just a couple of eggs and a little camping egg container. And I'm just going to crack these into my stainless bowl here. And these are going to be scrambled, so I'm not worried about busting the yolks. Now, this is a secret ingredient. I like to take some heavy whipping cream and add that in with my eggs. And that really makes them nice to me. I love the addition of that cream. I have here vintage whisk. You'll see I'm pulling a couple of vintage items in here today. Unfortunately, those are not Pathfinder gear, so we can't send them out to you. Prize package will be Pathfinder gear only. And that heavy cream, if you've never tried that, you really need to try that. That adds something special to those scrambled eggs. So to cook up these eggs this morning, I brought out my vintage cast iron griddle. And I found it for $1 at a yard sale, restored this thing, and I've cooked many, many good breakfasts on this griddle. And so I figured since I don't have to pack this into the woods this morning and I'm at home, I'll go ahead and bring this out and cook up these eggs proper on this cast iron griddle. It works great alongside the Pathfinder stainless gear that I've been using. So this is how I'm gonna cook up my eggs. Let's get them going. So I think this sausage is good to go. I think I'm gonna call that good with our sausage. I'm gonna take that off the coals, set it over here aside, and it'll just stay hot in the stainless skillet. I'm gonna just kind of freshen up this coal bed a little bit here. And I'm gonna set that dude right there on the coals. And I'm gonna grab some butter. Whenever you're cooking on a cast iron pan or griddle like this, it's always good to add some extra oil or butter. It just helps your finish, and it also keeps things from sticking. Now these eggs are going to cook up super fast, so I have to be careful not to burn them. And this is how I'm going to do them, a little bit at a time. All right, so now that this egg is kind of solidified, I'm going to just get up under it and flip it, just like that. And with that, first batch done. All right, so I think we're ready for the next egg. Just a little bit more butter in the pan. Fluff them eggs up a little bit, and maybe I got 2 batches to go. You see, no matter how much I try, I always want to run to that side. That's all right. Give that just a minute, let those eggs kind of solidify, and I'll be able to flip it. I love them when they're cooked thin like this. Just makes it quick and easy to cook them up. You can see they cook up really nice. And if you want to take those eggs and just roll them up and eat them by hand, you can do that in camp too. All right, and just like that, another one on the plate. And I'd say we got one more to go. All right, so I think this last round of eggs is pretty much good to go. Now what I'm gonna do with these is just put them in here with the sausage. And that way I can keep all that stuff nice and warm until it's time to eat. And just set that aside. All right, so I'm ready to put together this grits casserole. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in a little bit of butter. You gotta have butter in grits. That's just the way it is. Now I know there's some of you guys that are not into grits. Maybe you don't even have grits around you. Of course, it tends to be more of a southern thing. In the past on my channel, when I've cooked grits, I've had people say, what are grits? So, you know, growing up in the South, it's just a staple. It's not something that I realized people didn't have. So in addition to the butter in these grits, we're gonna add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. This stuff is really rich and it adds a ton of flavor. Another sample. So again, just 1 small can of Campbell's cream of chicken soup. Mix that in a little bit. Now, in addition to that, we need to add 1 can of mild chilies. All right, just green diced chilies. And of course that doesn't have a pop top, so got my handy Swiss Army knife. Let's see, this can opener right here. All right, piece of cake with that. All right, so we're just going to empty these chilies into these grits. And you don't have to do the whole can. You can do half can if you want. In fact, looking at that, I think a little less than the whole can works for me. And just mix those in really good. You can see what this is looking like here. Now there's one more really important ingredient, and it's always an important ingredient, and that is good cheddar cheese. And with this, I'm just gonna eyeball it. I think the recipe calls for about a cup. I'm gonna do about a half to 3/4 of a cup, and I'm just gonna mix that in. that's gonna make this stuff so creamy. Nah, that ain't enough cheese. We need a little bit more of that. There we go. You just mix that in really good. And the grits have cooled off a little bit since I've taken them off the fire. So I'm gonna get them back over the fire so that cheese can melt down and all those flavors can mesh. And then we're gonna be good to go. All right, so I think that cheese is melted up perfect in this grits casserole, and I think it's ready to serve up. Now, when we cook this grits casserole at Christmas time, we'll take this mixture here and put it in a casserole dish, and then we'll top it with cheese once again, put it in the oven, bake it for a few minutes to melt all the cheese, and then you have the casserole. Today, I don't have the option of putting it in the oven particularly, so I'm just gonna eat it like it is, and it'll be delicious. But just understand that's why it's grits casserole, because normally we would put it in a casserole dish and again top it with cheese. And I'm gonna just take some of this stuff here, if I can get a hold of this bush pot. It's a little warm. So I'm just gonna take that stuff and serve some up on my plate here. And I'm sure I'll be back for seconds. Man, that stuff looks good and it smells fantastic. Those chilies add so much to that. All right, so that's a good start. Set that aside. And now for the other half of our plate. Ooh, man, look at that. Country sausage, and just add some of that right on in there. And that smells good. When you cook over a fire and you're smelling that smoke, sipping that coffee, boy, it sure does make you ready to eat a good breakfast like this. And I'm gonna just go ahead and, it's just me, I might as well go on and load up, right? All right, we're gonna set that aside. And with that, man, look at that. It's gonna be a good breakfast. And of course, it would not be Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen without the official meal reveal. Scrambled eggs whipped with heavy cream, that smoky country sausage, grits casserole, those green chilies, and all that creamy cheese. You know this is going to be an awesome, awesome breakfast. Can't wait. All right, so breakfast is served. A delicious campfire breakfast cooked up right here in my own backyard, no less. But it's going to be a delicious meal, and anytime I'm sitting in the great outdoors enjoying delicious food, I always take just a minute to say thanks. All right, so it's time for the good old taste test, and I'm going to go right in for the grits casserole. Perfect. Just like my mom makes it. And this food is so good that the flies are swarming in for some. Get a little bit of that sausage. This stuff is so good. A lot of people probably don't use that for breakfast sausage, but my family loves that. A little bit of eggs. If you never tried scrambling eggs with that heavy cream in them, man, that just really does something special to them. And to be honest with you, these grits, they're almost like a condiment. You get a little bit on the sausage and eat it, you get a little bit on the eggs, it all mixes well together. I think of all the meals of the day, breakfast might just be my favorite. And it's one that I don't think I've cooked yet on Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, so this is a first, doing a campfire breakfast. Apologize, talking with my mouth full. My mom wouldn't be happy. And, of course, I can't be eating food in front of you guys without offering you a bite. Let's get you a piece of that sausage, a little bit of eggs, some grits. Take a bite. So good. So, again, don't forget on this video to go down and comment, I'm in. Make sure you've subscribed to the Self-Reliance Outfitters channel. If your name is pulled up and you're not a subscriber, we can't see that you're a subscriber publicly. We can't award you that prize package. Don't forget, you also have to be subscribed to Black At Bushcraft. And of course, we're going to be sending somebody some free Pathfinder cooking gear. Bush pot, a skillet, plate, bowl. I've used a bunch of different stuff today. It's going to be a nice prize package. And I'm personally going to add in a couple of things to that box. So hope you guys will comment and be subscribed. You know my two favorite things about Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen: giving away free gear to our friends and supporters, and of course, eating delicious food in the great outdoors. Just doesn't get better than that. So once again, I want to thank you guys for your time, interest, and support. Don't forget to submit your favorite camp recipe to the email address listed down below, because the next episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, of course, will feature a subscriber submitted recipe. So I hope that one of you guys will be the lucky winner of that prize package that'll be going out from Reliance Outfitters with all of the Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear that I use to prep that recipe, your recipe. So go ahead and get it submitted over, and I look forward to talking to you guys with another episode and another delicious meal in the great outdoors very soon. Until then, take care and be safe. All right, flies, come and get it. Breakfast is served just for you. Left you a lot.